Hello, as you may or may not know, I'm currently traveling around the world. Today is a beautiful day here in Hong Kong, and I thought I would do a quick video about the apps that I use most while traveling. I'm going to show you 24 apps on my iPhone that I use almost every single day. I'll try to go through them quickly, and I will put links to all of them in the description below. Okay, let's start with Google Translate. You may have noticed that all of my hair is gone. That's because I got a bad haircut and then decided to cut it all off. That probably wouldn't have happened if I had used Google Translate instead of relying on body language. You can use the camera to translate text. You can use your voice. Where's the park?
公园在哪里?
And when you don't have data, you can download a bunch of languages for offline use, which is something that I use all the time. You can save your favorite phrases, just rotate the phone and it'll quickly show it in really large letters. So really useful app that I use all the time. Google Maps, in the same vein, is just the best maps app out there. It has a bunch of great features like this Explore feature to find cafes and stuff. But also, most importantly, you can download offline maps. You can download entire cities or countries and quickly find your way around even if you don't have internet. There are some regions where Google Maps isn't perfect, like in Sri Lanka, for example. OpenStreetMaps was way more reliable than Google Maps, and for that I use maps.me. It's a great offline OpenStreetMaps viewer. Lonely Planet gives away a lot of their city guides for free in this app. They don't have every city in the world, obviously, but a lot of the bigger cities are there. And when they do have it, it's much better than actually having the book, because you can see everything that they recommend on a map. You can quickly look up information. All of that works offline. This is the park where I am right now, and yeah, it's just really useful when you're in a city that they have covered. Now, when it comes to accommodation, these are probably the 4 apps that I use most. Couchsurfing, if you're not familiar, is a way to stay with locals completely for free. I love that community. Just stayed with Max here in Hong Kong, so I have to leave him a reference. And then if you don't want to stay with someone, or maybe you kind of want some time to yourself, Airbnb is a great option in many places, especially because you can specifically look for a place that maybe has a kitchen. You can make your own food. We use Airbnb quite a lot on this trip. Hostels obviously are also a good way to stay in places. Hostel World is my favorite website and app to look for hostels. They've got good reviews, and I just like their website and their app. Booking.com, I do not like this company. I think they've got pretty terrible customer service, and I think they kind of have a monopoly, actually. But that being said, they do have probably the most functioning website and app, and the hotels are usually the cheapest on their website. So I use it quite a lot when it comes to hotels. I booked our entire China trip on this. So yeah, I guess it makes sense to have an account for Booking.com. I'll put a link in the description where if you sign up through that link, you get $25 in travel credit with them. Kayak is a search engine for flights and hotels and cars. I often use it to compare flight prices. But what I really like is that you can send your booking confirmations to a special email address, and then those flights or hotels will show up in the trips section of the app, and so you can really quickly see all the relevant data, your departure time. They will even send you push notifications with your gate and all that stuff. So I love Kayak for that stuff. TripAdvisor is an app that I've never used really before I started this trip, but in many places it's really kind of the essential reference for restaurants and walking tours and all of that kind of thing. Like in India, for example, I heavily relied on TripAdvisor to find cafes that serve decent coffee. So it's definitely an app you want to have with you when you travel. Uber is another company that I don't like and that I try not to support when I can, but it is really good to have an account and to have the app installed. In many places there is an alternative to Uber, like in Vietnam there was Grab, in India there was Ola, so I would always try to use the local alternative when there is one, but it's just good to have Uber just in case. Day one is a journaling app, and I absolutely recommend journaling. I started journaling on this trip. I journal every day now. And what's great is that it automatically tags where you are. You can add pictures, you can add tags, and a year later it'll remind you of this day. It's just a really beautiful journaling app. It's a subscription model now. You have to pay every year, but I really recommend it. I use it every day. Key Weeks, kind of not the prettiest app in the world maybe, but it lets you download Wikipedia and some other things as well. But I have the entire Wikipedia without pictures, but the entire English-speaking Wikipedia downloaded to my phone. That means that if I don't have internet because I don't have a SIM card, or maybe access to the internet is filtered, I can still search anything on Wikipedia that I want. Now the next two, Clock and Currency, what's great about them are the widgets. So basically Clock is a time zone converter, and I don't even have to turn on my phone. All I do is I swipe over to my widgets and I can see the local time in Hong Kong and then 3 other time zones that I've configured. And if I want to see what time it'll be, let's say today PM 11, so 23 in Hong Kong, that'll be 7 in San Francisco. So just a really quick and easy way to make those calculations, which I do all the time while traveling for FaceTime calls or Skype calls with people at home. And then Currency is a currency conversion app. They too have an excellent widget. So without even turning on my phone, I can just swipe over. I can say what is, let's say, 523 Hong Kong dollars, and you can configure up to 4 currencies to show up in this widget here. All right, Transferwise is an app that you might not need if you're just kind of traveling, but if you are staying in a place for a longer time, or like me, you've lived and worked in different places, this is an app that lets you send money from one currency to another without paying crazy fees. So your bank might say that you can make free international transfers, but it's never actually free because they use their own conversion rate and you end up paying a lot more. And Transferwise uses the absolutely official day-to-day conversion rate and then just charges you a fee that they show you very transparently, and it's much cheaper than making a bank transfer. I'll put a referral link in the description which will make your first transfer free if you ever have that need. Dropbox, you're probably familiar with it, is just a great way to kind of keep your files in the cloud. I have all of my documents there, so I have them accessible at all times, and I also often save files for offline viewing. Now, Sync.com is an alternative to Dropbox from Canada, and I actually have a paid account with them for 2 reasons. The one thing that I love about them is that they use end-to-end encryption. So unlike Dropbox, anything that you store in Sync.com is completely safe, even from the Sync employees. And the second thing is, and this is why it's great for a world trip, is that they separate basically the files that are in the folder that you want to sync and a vault. And the vault lets you basically just store things online in the cloud, but they're not actually on your computer or on your phone. They're just stored in the vault, and whenever you need them, you can get them. So I have a lot of my old video projects, a lot of big files stored in this vault, and whenever I need them, I can just get them from sync.com. Documents is basically a document viewer for the phone. I don't actually have anything saved in here right now, but one of the amazing features is that it lets you do something that the phone normally doesn't let you do, which is download things. It has this kind of internal viewer, and if you go to Save From Net, for example, you can paste a YouTube link, and I could now tap download, and it would actually download into the Documents app. Another app by the same developer, Riedel, is Scanner Pro. I have tested all of the scanner apps out there, and this is by far the best. It has built-in optical character recognition, and it just looks really nice. And sometimes, even when you travel, you have to deal with documents. Here I bought a microphone and got an invoice, and I just quickly scanned it with this app, and then it uploads to either Dropbox or Evernote, and it's just good to have a scanner app while you're traveling. And then that last row here is basically all about entertainment. So Spotify is my favorite way to listen to music. Every Monday there's a playlist called Discover Weekly that shows songs that Spotify thinks you will like. Every Friday there's a playlist with new releases, and then it also lets you download playlists for offline listening, which I use all the time. Overcast has become my favorite podcast client. I listen to a ton of podcasts, especially while in a bus or in a train or on a flight. And then Instapaper is just a great way to read articles offline. So basically, whenever I stumble upon an article that I might want to read, I save it to Instapaper, and it's then saved offline in this app, so I can read it even if I don't have internet, even if I'm on an airplane. And then finally, of course, the YouTube app is just a great way to watch YouTube on the phone. For some reason, they took away the offline feature. I was able to download videos within the YouTube app until a few days ago. Now that's gone. Maybe it'll come back. But the app is still pretty great. And of course, I can use documents to download YouTube videos if I want to save them for later. All right, that was probably not the most exciting video in the world, but hopefully if you're planning a trip and you're taking your smartphone with you, you got something out of it. I will put links to all of the apps that I mentioned in the description below, and hopefully see you again soon.